7:44, everybody, and we are continuing to cover news that Mayor Adams has been indicted, and we want to break down the legal process now so we can really understand what this all means, right? Lay it all out for you because it's historic, and what happens next.
Yeah, for that we are turning to attorney and professor at the University of Mount St. Vincent, J.C. Polanco, who can walk us through it step by step. Now, J.C., you have been walking us through all of this step by step since November, since this all began, right? The mayor has been under the microscope. He still says he hasn't done anything wrong, but now there is an indictment. So is the writing on the wall?
Well, it could be. Listen, your viewers have to know that a grand jury indictment is a time where 16 to 23 regular folks get into a grand jury room. There is no judge. There's no defense attorney. The rules of evidence are pretty much out the window. And the federal prosecutors have virtually unlimited power, and it's all done in secrecy. And what the grand jury is doing is investigating, hearing things and looking at things that may not be able to be introduced in court, but getting a lot of information and determining whether or not the mayor was involved in a crime and whether or not the mayor committed a crime. And yesterday we were told that we will find out what those charges are, but a grand jury did decide that there was enough evidence to demonstrate that a crime was committed and that the mayor committed it. We're going to hear what those charges are in maybe an hour or so to see the severity of those charges. But it's very important that your viewers know that there will be, if we do get to a trial, there's a whole other jury known as the petty jury, or the regular jury that we all know, consisting of 12 people. And it is there, Dan and Hazel, where the mayor must be proven to have been guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And that burden lies with the prosecution.
Let me ask you, before we even get to that point, right? We are hearing that the federal authorities are at Gracie Mansion right now. They were either, according to our sources, serving a subpoena or executing a search warrant. Those details still being worked out, right? But what happens now with the mayor himself? Is it organized that he would turn himself in today, next week, or is he just kind of taken into handcuffs and walked out of Gracie Mansion or wherever he may be?
That's a great question, Dan. From what we've been reading from the sources in the media, it's that he's arranged an opportunity for himself to surrender. You would see that opportunity normally with people that are elected officials, people that are not at risk that they're going to disappear from the country. We normally see an opportunity for them to work with their attorneys and determine how they
and not to cut you off, Jay, not to cut you off, but that's exactly what happened, not to compare the cases, with Diddy, right? He was flown here and he was going to turn himself in. It was all organized and it was all kind of worked out with the attorneys, right?
Yeah, very different though, Dan. We discover, and I was with you guys, we discovered right afterwards that Diddy was out there threatening witnesses and telling witnesses not to cooperate. And Diddy was a flight risk. We know Diddy has access to planes. He has unlimited amounts of money. He could travel anywhere. That's not the same thing with Mayor Adams. Mayor Adams isn't, from what we've known thus far, threatening any witnesses or threatening violence, or has access to just leave the country. The man is attached to New York City and is not a violent criminal.
So tell us then what does happen if he does surrender. What's the next step?
Well, he'll surrender. He'll be treated like everyone else. You know, this Southern District is the preeminent prosecutor's office in the country. I would argue in the world. The most sophisticated attorneys, the brightest attorneys. The Southern District of New York has the unlimited amount of resources, and they won't indict someone unless there's enough evidence to go to trial. And that's why I'm concerned about the mayor and his team. You know, this is a time where people are going to be throwing shots at him nonstop. But, you know, legally speaking, this is quite a story, because from now on, the city mayor has to deal with the most powerful Southern District, the most powerful U.S. Attorney's Office in the country, coming after you with unlimited money, and they feel they have enough evidence. Not only did they get you indicted, but they're ready to go to trial. So I don't know what the charges are. We're going to soon discover what those charges are and the severity of them.
Around 9:30 this morning, live images outside Gracie Mansion, where the federal agents are still on the scene there at Gracie Mansion. But JC, you're talking about the trial, right? And the mayor even said in his statement last night, "I want this to be quick." But we are in an election year, right? There's an election in November, so there's some things in the way. How quickly could a trial take place for a sitting mayor?
Now listen to this. So far we know that there have been a lot of people that have been under the crosshairs of the federal government. We've seen phones being seized by everyone almost in his administration at the very top. You're dealing with a lot of moving parts. From what the sources are saying, there are countries involved, there's other things involved. this could be a very lengthy trial. And the reason you want it to be lengthy is that you want the mayor to be able to put up a strong defense. Normally, we say things like, when we get excited and want to prove that we're innocent, we'll come out and say, hey, let's get this out of the way so you can see that I'm innocent. But it's going to take time for your lawyers to prepare the case. They're going to have to counter all the information, the plethora of information that the federal government has before they even indict it. Look, you do not come after the city mayor of the most important city in the world unless you have a lot of information and you have not enough evidence. And quite frankly, he needs the time. The lawyers that he's going to have are going to need the time to be able to launch a strong defense of the mayor. Now, that's the legal answer. Politically and publicly, in the in the court of public opinion, you all know that he has to come out and let the city know how he's going to be able to juggle defending himself against the most sophisticated U.S. Attorney's Office in the country and be mayor. So that's something that he has to tell the city so that we can have confidence that he's able to do this. Fortunately, we've seen a lot of succession plans so far.
Yeah.
We have a new chancellor named, a new police commissioner named, so we're going to see more succession plans coming. But this is devastating.
All right, J.C. Polanco, telling it how it is. We appreciate your insight this morning.
Thank you very much.